Hi everyone, I hope you're having a good day. I just thought I'd give you a virtual walk through the spreadsheet that I'm using to help us manage the meal counts over Christmas. The reason for that is so that you understand where my thinking's coming from and that you can also see how all of the figures fit together, because these figures will be moving as we go across the next 2 weeks, and we'll need to keep track of them so that we cover the period of Christmas week and also the first week in January. So make a cup of tea and settle in for the next 5 to 10 minutes, and I'll just run you through the spreadsheet. I'll also send you a copy of the spreadsheet so you can have a look yourself. So what I've done is tried to forecast meals in the same way that we forecast our cash, and that is by looking at what meals we have on hand as at today, and then looking at the meals that come in, so from the dignity dishes, from the corporates and from schools. This gives us the total number of meals that we have available for distribution to send out, and then we look at how many meals each week we're going to distribute. So we distribute to the houses and we possibly can distribute to charity partners. Once we do all of that, that gives us a closing balance of the meals that are left across various freezers in Dignity so that we can track where we are. And the important number is to look at what meals we have at the end of the week of the 5th in January to make sure that we're not running short. So if I go through here, we're starting as at today, and these columns are then every week, every Friday after that. So we've counted the houses, with the exception of Colchin, but I've just estimated that. We've counted the NDC. We know that there are meals from the King's Cook at Chilora, and we are waiting to get the Brigidine numbers confirmed. At the moment they're 160, but they're likely to be higher than that following the residential cook that I think is happening today. So we'll update that when those numbers come in. So as at the end of today, we are expecting around 3,600 meals. And you can see that the closing meals becomes the opening meals for the following week. So next week, we start with those number of meals, and I'm expecting that the dignity dishes will be cooking the same sort of level that they have cooked in the past. We don't know that, and so this is a number that we really have to keep our eyes on, because if this is lower, you can see at the moment we've got 1,600 meals assumed to be left. If they only cook 700 meals next week, then there's not as many meals left over. So, and certainly if they only cook 700 meals at the end of the following week, we really are getting down to bare bones. So we will keep a tight eye on what's being cooked by the dishes over the next 2 weeks. We're also expecting some meals to be cooked from two corporate days to be run next week. We've assumed that to be 500. Going out, so that leaves us with this many 5,500 meals for distribution. I'm assuming that the houses will order around 1,200 meals each week. Now that is about 1 meal per room, so that's about what they should be ordering, and it's also about approximately what they are ordering each week on average. So that's a fair estimation. They might order higher or lower, but we again will be keeping our eyes on that. I've got a line here that shows meals to be sent to the charity partners, and I have said for the next 2 weeks at least that we should hold off on sending any meals made by the dishes or corporates or schools to charity partners until we just understand where we're at. I have included here that perhaps the 3rd week, the 22nd, we might be able to send 500, which is the corporate cooks, 500 meals to the charities. But that really depends on what this number is looking like after we see what the cooks and the corporates have cooked next week. So you can see if I take that off, we're in a much stronger position with 2,000 meals left, which is about 2 weeks worth of food for the houses at the end of that week. So we will decide, we can decide the week of the 22nd whether we're in a position to send out any more meals or not. The important thing, just going back on Dignity Dishes, I've also assumed that the dishes won't be cooking anything on the week of Christmas or the following week, the 5th. So Juliet, if you think that we are expecting some meals in, please let me know, because we will have to monitor the available freezer space at the NDC. So that tells us our expectations of what meals we'll have. Then we need to look at where will the meals be held, and also what our possible freezer space is, because we want to make sure that we're not holding too many meals and where we don't have room to hold them. So down the bottom here, I've listed out our possible freezer space based on the numbers that you guys have given me. So at Chullora, at NDC, we have just over 2,200 meals that we can hold, both in the garage and in the house. At Chullora, I've said we can hold 800. Brigidine, we can hold a possible 1,000. And the houses, we don't actually have a freezer count at the moment, but I've assumed that they'll hold 2,000 because that's what they're holding at the moment. It's possibly more than that. So if we look at our actuals up here, we need to make sure that this line, the NDC garage, isn't holding more than is possible here. So you can see I've highlighted the week of the 22nd. This is where things get tight, and we'll need to keep an eye on it, because say the houses don't order too much next week. So if they only ordered 800 next week, you can see that then NDC goes over the possible freezer space, and that's where we have a trouble. So we need to make sure that the houses are ordering at least 1,200 next week and the week after. As we stop getting dishes, deliveries, then the pressure on the NDC eases up. And you can see here that in the week of Christmas, we expect there to be hardly any meals at NDC. And the week of the 5th, we will be, this is negative because it's a spreadsheet formula, but really that will be coming off the meals in the houses. So the week of the 5th, the houses will be eating down the supplies in their freezer that they have, which will leave them with probably about a week's worth of food. So we will need a restock in the following week, the weekend of the 12th. But based on these numbers, that all works and there's no red flags. The important things that we'll need to look out for are what's coming in from the dishes, and also what's coming in, what's going out to the houses. It won't matter if Brigidine tells us that they've got extra meals. That will be okay because they're holding it off site. It will only, and we'll only use those if we need to dip into them if this number starts to go down. So have a play around with that. I'll send you the spreadsheet, and you can't break it. I've got a copy of it, so you can't ruin it. Just play around with the numbers so that you feel comfortable with what we're doing. And if you've got any questions or any thoughts or any extra information, please let me know. I am assuming that our drivers will be dropping to the houses this week, in the Christmas week. So if that's not the case, please let me know, because we'll need to then adjust, increase the delivery up here. So just keep doing what you're doing, keep taking the any list orders, try and get the houses to order to their limits that we've set, which is 2 weeks worth of food, and hopefully we can get through Christmas without any problem. Thanks a lot.